we're bringing tether balloons, wireless mesh, a new dynamic mobile network, and you're bringing them all together into this new way of doing things. Nobody's done it before.
What's up, World Mobile community? Thank you all for tuning into today's live stream, breaking down all the latest updates when it comes to this growing DePIN project. I do apologize. Just had some crazy technical issues kicking off here. Literally about 4 or 5 minutes before we're about to go live, my power cuts out here. So I've had to literally reboot the entire set. We are back up and running, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. That said, I can't do this show by myself. I've got my lovely co-host here with me. First and foremost, we've got Rob LLAP. Welcome up, Rob. How are you?
Apparently, I'm lovely. Doing well. Doing very good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Excited to see you on this wonderful Saturday. Is it dry where you're at?
For the first time in months, yes. Yes, it is. So that's a nice thing. It's actually very, very warm and muggy out today. One of those where you walk outside, you have to come in and feel like you need to take a shower. But
right.
I've been in and out. I got 3 of my organic chickens from my farm. I got cut ups on the smoker right now. So been playing with that all morning and looking forward to dinner tonight.
Yeah, very good. Got a nice little post stream treat. So yes. That's awesome. Enjoy. We've got Eric Threadgill, right? Eric, welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in here. We've got Clover, of course. We've got Dominic Shepard. We've got Lord. We've got Earth Path as well. Please, guys, as you're tuning in, please make sure to number 1, thumbs up, with the number 2, share the stream out if you can. All right, let's bring up our second co-host here, Clover Nodes. Welcome up, man. How are you?
Hey. Good to see you guys. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I am currently looking at all the Scam for Saturday posts on X, and it's looking good. People are all over the place on kayaks. They are out and about, scanning, eating delicious food, posting their cool pictures. So I'm doing well. Good to see you guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you for always joining us and providing so much insights. I think today's going to be another one of those instances, right? So we've got a little bit to jump into as a part of today's video, but maybe we just kick off with recent experiences with Scan for Points, right? After that, we'll jump into what I believe is the Node dashboard. So Clover, if you're able to, at least what you're comfortable sharing, it'd be great to maybe take a look at what you have access to that many of us within the community don't currently have access to, which is the AirNode rewards dashboard. We've also got a couple of talking points here with respect to AirNode sale batch number 2, drop number 1. So that's interesting there, right? So we're going to get multiple drops for that second batch of AirNodes going into the community. And we've got a couple of points that we want to highlight with respect to those. Now, again, if it's your guys' first time stopping by, these streams are held once every other week, every other Saturday. We stream here live on Twitter and on YouTube. But if you're not already keeping up with Clover or Rob, make sure to go ahead and tune in every other Saturday that we aren't streaming here for the World Mobile Alliance X Spaces. That said, there's actually a nice piece that we could probably talk about too, actually, with the World Mobile Alliance. I know you guys are hosting an upcoming meetup at the Rare Evo event in Vegas. I believe it's on the 15th. Clover, maybe this is an opportunity for you to kind of plug this in. And then Rob, I'd love to maybe hear about what you have in mind for this upcoming event as well.
Here, let me unmute myself. Absolutely. So we are having our first meetup in Vegas, which is going to be on Thursday, August 15, I believe. Yes. So Thursday, August 15 at the Caesar lobby bar is going to be our first meetup event. And it's going to be sponsored by the amazing LVLC, as well as them having to offer anyone who wears their jersey a free drink. And they will also have some of their merchandise up for sale there. So this is going to be one of our many meetings and meetups at Rare Evo, and like you said, this is going to be the first one. It's going to be an exciting one, just because it's the first day. Actually, not the first day, because I think the first day is on Friday of the conference. So pre first day, when everyone comes in, and if you're looking to see some familiar faces from the World Mobile team and also the World Mobile Alliance and the community, come through, wear your jerseys, and you're gonna get a free drink. So exciting! I actually posted up. Oh, there it is. I posted up this from the World Mobile Alliance. So for anyone that's going to be going to Rare Evo, come through and let's have some fun. And thank you, LVLC, if you guys are listening. We truly appreciate you guys sponsoring this event. It's going to be very fun. I met these guys last year at NFT XLV. Actually, I met them, now that I think about it, at Rare first, and then we followed through our conversations at NFTL NFTXLV. Yeah. So they're very nice guys. I obviously bought their t-shirts. I'm gonna be wearing it, and I can't wait to see everyone there.
Nice, and thank you. We've got Dominic, who's going to be joining us to drink his ginger ale. So all drink types are welcome, Dominic. We do not discriminate. Rob, anything that you maybe want to add about this meetup, or maybe just what your expectations are, right, from a community's perspective, excuse me.
Yeah, well, the thing about Rare Evo and what the Alliance is doing is we're trying to get everyone involved as much as we can. And we want to provide opportunities for it, and we'll be the people that can help set things up if folks want to come and get a little bit more involved as well. So we had been talking for a while. We did this. We've done meetups every year at Rare, and this year we wanted to do some things a little bit differently, and we wanted to have a dedicated meetup the day before the event started. So we've been talking for quite a while about doing something on Thursday. In fact, I think we've been talking about it for almost about 8 months now, where we're going to do something the day before the event, so people can come in, they can see the familiar faces that they know, they can meet everybody that's part of the World Mobile community, so they're not walking around wondering if they know somebody, hoping they recognize somebody halfway through the first day. So one of the things that we wanted to do was provide an opportunity for to say, hey, you're not going to be alone. You're not going to have to look for anybody. We're going to be here beforehand, so you're going to be familiar with everybody, and it's going to just make it more comfortable. So we're as we were settling on picking the location for this, LVLCS reached out to us, and they said that they wanted to be involved as well and do something for the people that have supported them. And it's like, this is the perfect synergy. It's a chance for everyone to meet. And here's the brilliant thing about it is, even if you don't have one of these jerseys, they'll have some for sale if you want to buy one. But when you're going to walk in at 5 o'clock on Thursday to the lobby bar, you're going to see 15, 20, 30, 50 people wearing the same shirt. And you're going to know, hey, that's my group. That's the people I'm going to go to. Maybe you're a little embarrassed because we have, everyone's wearing the same uniform, but no, but you're going to know where we're at, and it'll be a nice drawing point. So this is a perfect synergy for it. One of the other things that we wanted to do too, because we found out that World Mobile is not going to have a booth. So the only World Mobile related booth will be ours. So we'll be hosting the Alliance stuff plus all of the World Mobile stuff at our booth, which makes it really tight. We have a lot of people with a lot of brands and a lot of things that they want to get other people involved with. And while we want our booth to be a meeting place for everybody to join up and see each other, see the World Mobile team on the floor in between the events and the things that we're doing, it's going to be difficult to incorporate all the other things when we have one 6-foot table and a very, very limited space. So this is perfect. We're also talking about doing at least one other meetup or event after maybe Friday night. We're still finalizing the schedule, but what we want is we want to have the opportunity for everyone who's coming. Let's say, Fareed, you make a bunch of merch that says, DAP Central, or our friend Jeff. Last year Jeff carried around shirts for Delta nodes for his Earth nodes. I carried around Alliance shirts and Trek shirts. Um, Instead of having to carry them around in your backpack and just hand them out to people that you see, this is an opportunity to bring your stuff. Hey, we're going to have this. This is our community. These are the people that we want to share things with and get things more involved with. And so you will be able to push your branding a little bit more, which is what one of the things the Alliance wants to do anyway, is help people push their brands. So we're going to have these meetups where people can bring anything they want to, talk about what they're doing, exchange ideas with others, off of the show floor, where maybe it's a little bit less about World Mobile, Mickey and the team being dead center, maybe at the booth or something. This is going to be something more where it's community based, where you can share the ideas but do things when everyone's around you as well. So we definitely want to provide as much opportunity as we can for everyone in their branding, everyone and their missions, and also provide that connectivity before the event starts. So keep an eye out for our schedule as we get closer. I've just sent a tentative schedule to the World Mobile team just to make sure they're good with it. If they have any corrections, we're trying to add a few more things to it, including an Earth Node operators meeting like we did last year, where people who have Earth nodes will be able to get a bit more dedicated inside information from Mickey and maybe James Tagg like they did last year. We're also looking to do things maybe more of a group event or two where people can go out. Last year in Vegas, Cal and I and a few others went and saw David Copperfield. And so maybe it's something where if there's nothing going on in the evening after things on Friday, it might be a thing for, a bunch of us to go to dinner together, or a bunch of us to go see a show in Vegas together, and just do something that's, doing life a little bit more than just talking about World Mobile at a booth all day. So we're trying to get a few ideas in there, and we're definitely open to if folks have other ideas. We're grateful for LVLCS because they wanted to sponsor this thing by offering drinks to people who have supported both the Alliance and what LVLCS is doing with their jerseys. If others want to come around and do things, Mr. Miyagi, he's helping support our booth by he sent some World Mobile gear to us. He sent those keychains that he's made up that are incredible. If people have some World Mobile gear or things that they want to help support at the booth, great. If people want to bring their own gear for things, we want to have dedicated meetups where people can lay that out, give that out, and not feel like they're just carrying bags around all day and trying to secretly hand things out of their bag like they're a drug dealer or something. So definitely there's going to be a lot going on, but we're very, very excited for it. I want to break a little bit of one of the things that we ordered just on a whim for the booth. I want to show it. These have come in already, but we have just little laptop stickers, little mini stickers here. We made some World Mobile ones. We made some Alliance ones. We'll have a bunch of these to be handed out, as well as a bunch of other merch and stuff at the booth.
That's awesome.
So
I have
pretty
actually
cool.
Haven't seen those. Let me see them again.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Got the little custom World Mobile one.
Oh, yes.
They sell bigger ones like this. I don't know if they sell them on their website, but they've had some that are like huge at different shows in the past. I pilfered one last year, and then we got some little Alliance logo. It's hard because the background's the Alliance as well, but we got the Alliance logo stickers as well. And again, these are just some little trinkets of a bunch of stuff we're going to have, but please reach out. I know time's getting limited, but if you were thinking about ordering some gear or something, bring something from your brand, from your Earth Node brand, and you feel like it's a possibility, we will definitely provide outlets for you to help lay those things out, as opposed to just having to carry them around and hand them out one at a time. So things to think about. Reach out to Cal and myself with any questions about that.
Yeah, I appreciate what you guys have done for the community, and myself even pulling up last year. I believe it was you, Mark, and Jeff, as you mentioned, from Delta Nodes. I walked away with an Earth Node hat, actually similar to what you're wearing. I think I've got a gray one and a blue one that matches the one that you're wearing there. As you mentioned, some stickers, T-shirts from World Mobile or from Mickey and the team, just a bunch of swag. So I definitely want to say thank you guys for going out of your way. You obviously didn't have to do any of that, but you guys did that, not just for me. You guys did that for every other Earth Node operator that was in attendance at the event. So really, really made it an awesome time. And I loved the post-event meetings, which we had, as you mentioned, with Mickey, James, Tag, and a few other members from the actual team. And then of course we were able to drink, eat, and chat on and do all of that good stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'll go ahead and drop the link to Rare Evo and the booth map. But for anybody who's just wanting to sign up, I believe there is a 5% discount code if you go ahead and use the discount code. I want to say it's Earth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
Earth.
that perfect. So that gives you 5% discount and also helps the World Mobile Alliance here to put on some of these additional events.
Hey, Freed, I sent you a message in the private chat. I'm not seeing us on X at the moment. I don't know if it's just not showing mine or not.
Let's see here. You know what? That's crazy. That's such a good call. So I'm looking here at the actual StreamYard settings, and it says, as of now, a premium X account on Twitter is now required to create live broadcasts. So I think it's my turn to finally upgrade to Twitter Premium. I've been avoiding that like the plague for the past couple of months. So yeah, you're right. We definitely are not streaming on X, and it looks like Elon has gone ahead and made that a subscription feature. So I'll get that taken care of. All right, let's jump into some of the updates here with respect to World Mobile. I know there's been the recent release of the AirNode dashboard. We're also anticipating that second batch of AirNodes in Reno. So Clover, we'll come to you here in just a moment, but there's been a string of videos that have been released by the team. And I want to see if we can maybe just play a couple of these. Again, really just talking about, expansion in Reno, scaling, and then accessibility. I think that's been a big piece. I know for me specifically, being able to invest upwards of, $10,000 at minimum for an AirNode, it is quite hefty. And so to hear that there's going to be more affordable options coming soon is definitely a positive. That's it. Let me queue up this content here. We'll watch, I think, one or two of these clips. And then Clover will come to you to discuss the AirNode dashboard. I believe we'll see if we can get a preview from here. So if you want, maybe go ahead and try to see if you can share your screen now. What I'll do is I'll have that backstage, and when the time is ready, I'll go ahead and bring that up. But while we wait for you to do that, let me go ahead and share this video real quickly. We'll take a listen, and then I'd love to hear a little bit more from Rob as well as Clover as to what your guys' thoughts are about these recent clips. So let's see here. First, we've got CB. So CB has actually been here on the channel before. Let me go ahead and roll this, and you guys should be able to hear the audio. Let me know if you guys have any trouble after this.
Reno is a densely populated center, but then it gets sparser as you go farther out. For instance, I do a lot of long bike rides. When I get an hour or two out on my bike, I would say the connectivity is not there. Within the city center, I'd say, fairly connected, but there are a lot of pockets here and there, especially here in the Northwest where we are a little farther away from downtown. There can be some connectivity pockets where you don't get as great a service.
So obviously, Clover, that's your host there. He's talking about the Swiss cheese problem, which I know Mickey and the team have mentioned plenty of times before. Very interesting, though, given that it's in Reno, being there for Rare Evo. I obviously didn't experience anything, but just thinking about the area itself, an area that's as populated, that gets as much tourist activity, that makes as much revenue as Reno, for them to still have this problem. So maybe, what are your thoughts about that clip? Maybe I'd love to hear about like your relationship with CB, and then maybe what you guys' plans are moving forward as well, between host and operator.
I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen here.
I see. Don't worry. We'll get to that in just a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. So can you repeat the question one more time? I'm so sorry. I was trying to focus on sharing my screen and logging into my dashboard. And because what I normally do is I'll use Safari, and then I'll use Chrome for the streaming. So I have no idea how to do all this. But anyways, repeat the question one more time. I'll figure it out.
No worries. And I'm more than happy to maybe go to Rob while we buy you a little bit of time. But it was just about the Swiss cheese problem in an area as big and as populated as Reno, Nevada, right? So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about that. Obviously, we'll talk about the dashboard here in just a moment. But what are your plans maybe with CB moving forward as a AirNode host and operator, trying to fill this gap, right? Because you guys have one AirNode together, but the problem is still there. So I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah. So from what we know so far, these AirNodes are not going up only in Reno, and as batch 2 drop 1 goes live, we're going to start seeing the scale throughout Reno. We're going to see it scale actually in different cities in Nevada, and it might even cover the entire Nevada from what we're understanding. So me and CB, we've been working together.
I think shared
Yeah, me and CB, it's okay. Me and CB, we've been working together on a few various different things, right? So I've gotten ideas on how I can essentially approach businesses and approach different people around Reno, and how we can onboard and basically acquire more subscribers, right? Now, what's really interesting is I asked that question to Mickey on our EarthNode Alliance space, sorry, World Mobile Alliance space this past Saturday, and he did drop a little bomb on us called the Hex Guardians, right? So these Hex Guardians essentially is going to be something as a third party that comes in, maybe a marketer or maybe a company that actually takes care of onboarding people. Because if you really think about it, someone as myself who's actually a remote operator would be very, very hard for me to onboard customers. Not impossible, right? Because I personally know some tools as far as scraping data, calling people, cold calling people, email marketing, all of that stuff. But if you have someone dedicated in that specific area, essentially onboarding people and getting those customers for the host, right, who is CB, and for me, who is the remote operator, I would gladly personally share some of my profits and rewards with that third party who will be taking care of onboarding stuff. So me and CB, obviously we've been talking behind doors how we can drive traffic, and he's very, very open to a lot of my suggestions. And honestly, I'm super lucky to have someone that's so Web3 focused and who's actually in our community to be my host. So it's very early stages, but I feel as once batch 2 comes on and one, obviously drop 1, there's going to be a lot of people wondering about this as far as customer acquisition. And at the moment, World Mobile is doing an excellent job. There's plenty of customers onboarded already, even though they're not shown currently on the Explorer. There's a lot of people using both the broadband service as well as cellular service. So we'll start seeing a lot of these profits come online through our AirNodes here once the batch 2 is online.
Thank you. And yeah, that was actually my first time hearing about, I think what was the name that you called them?
Hex Guardians.
Hex Guardians. Interesting. Yeah.
Right.
I hadn't heard of the concept before, but I mean, it makes sense, right? You're obviously not there. Maybe somebody like CB's, busy doing other things. So to introduce somebody that's growing both of your guys' business, it only makes sense that they're also able to benefit by getting a little bit of that as well, right? So I think it's a win-win. Obviously, World Mobile wins. The person who's the Hex Guardian wins, but then also you as the operator, and then CB as the host are also able to grow your business, as you mentioned.
Right. So
go ahead.
Real quick, and if you really think about it, like once World Mobile grows out of Nevada and Reno, right, they're not going to be the ones who's going to be acquiring these customers, right? The idea behind here is that the sharing economy in itself needs to grow organically, right? So it only makes sense for us to welcome a third party in this partnership, right? That's going to be taking care of all of these customers acquisitions, because once we grow and we go to New Mexico, once we end up going to Utah and all of the places where World Mobile has cellular spectrum, right? There needs to be someone as a third party who's going to be taking care of all of this marketing. So I think it's honestly a brilliant idea. It was like itching from inside, because I always had this question: hey, who's going to be taking care of and onboarding these customers? Obviously, I have plans to be getting more AirNodes once the network grows outside of Reno. So I was like, well, is World Mobile going to be like taking care of all of these customers? Who's going to be onboarding them? So I think bringing this third party as a marketer and it's just brilliant.
Yeah, nicely said. And I would love to see what opportunities come out of this for content creators like myself, to be able to support the sharing economy, give you as a operator or host some content that you can share either with other potential partners from like a host standpoint, or even to onboard traditional users who are actually benefiting or using the actual network. We've got an interesting comment here from from Mick Pfeiffer, asking about the recent announcement that was actually just shared. We're going to dive into it here in just a minute here, and how that potentially relates to batch number 2. So I'm definitely with you here on this one, Mick. I personally think that this is a tease about batch number 2, but let's actually take a listen here. And we've got another gentleman here who's an AirNode host operator, Batu Han, and he's basically going to be talking about why he believes in World Mobile. So we'll take a listen to this. Rob, will come over to you, and then Clover, we'll see if we can get your screen shared here in just a minute to take a look at the dashboard.
I think a shared economy service for internet and mobile should be the norm. Every person who has this option, there's no reason why they shouldn't take it, because they're overpaying for what they have. They're getting under quality service and they're not getting paid for it. There's no reason to not use this. I do see all of America updating to this model one day. I see a lot of opportunity in what World Mobile is doing, and it's just so easy to do at this point because your competition sucks.
Talk about cutting straight to the chase there with that very last statement. Aside from that, the one big piece that stood out to me there was the fact that we get paid to operate this network, right? So again, really weighing the benefits or the trade-offs between the current model and what World Mobile is offering. Rob, I'd love to maybe jump into your thoughts before we jump over to Clover and to take a look at that dashboard. You know, obviously there's a lot more content coming out from World Mobile, but to hear from actual node hosts and operators, you know, what does that kind of get you thinking about as you're potentially gearing up to be one of those AirNode hosts as well?
So there's a couple of thoughts there. One is Reno is a big focus right now in the surrounding areas, and they have boots on the ground. And so I think it's a no-brainer. If you want to get involved with something, this is an opportunity because they're doing the pushing for you. They're doing the heavy lifting. Whereas once it flows out of Reno to maybe our neighborhoods, we're gonna have to do a lot more. It'd have to be more of an, I don't want to say effort, but probably. So I think this is a huge opportunity. Cal's gotten in early. Not only did Cal do a great job of getting some air nodes in batch 1, but he also connected with somebody who is a major Web3 guy, very, very active and a huge supporter of World Mobile. So it's a perfect synergy there. Cal and I were on the phone the other day talking about things. I was trying to get a handle on this because I'm not an AirNode operator yet. I don't have those dashboards. I don't have some of the inside information and some of the know-how that Cal's gotten. And so we're talking about things. And one of the things we talked about was, it's you get paid for people that are connecting to your devices. And so you have a couple of options there. One is people just driving by connecting, and you maybe get a fraction of a penny for every connection. I don't know, as they drive by and they're there for 3 minutes or 30 seconds. But if you have somebody who maybe lives or works within the area and is in the range, they're going to be connecting to your AirNode a lot, all the time, for everything. So finding good spots to have an AirNode is crucial. You're putting it by an apartment complex, you're putting it by a business complex, a shopping center, a neighborhood, a densely populated neighborhood. That's gonna be a lot better, especially for the smaller nodes than out in the middle of nowhere on a highway, or on your farm where no one's gonna pass by it and hit it. The bigger ones obviously gonna have the range and that connection that you want. But excuse me, I just had a gnat or something flying in my mouth.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
If you need a break, let us know.
A little extra protein, I guess. It was weird. So, having people in proximity is going to be important. Finding the right location is going to be important. And I was thinking about this because I actually drove by. There's not far from me. I'm out in the country, but not far from me I think it's a man-made lake, but the guy owns a housing development out there. And there's a dead zone at the housing development and right by my house. And I went there, we were talking about something else, and he's like, yeah, the cell phone connection is awful. My people cannot connect, and it's really, really frustrating. They have to use like Wi-Fi connect at their house just to make phone calls on their cell phones. And that's the way it is at my house right now. And so we were talking about it, and I was describing World Mobile, and he goes, that's very, very interesting. I'd be very interested in doing that, because since he owns the housing development, he is basically, he's in charge. It's his HOA in some respects. They can only do what he allows. He can provide opportunities for people to put these up on their houses, even if he doesn't buy them. And so now we have an area with like no cell phone coverage at all. You have a ton of customers, and they're all people on lake houses. They want connectivity, right? So you put these up throughout the neighborhoods. You're connecting AirNodes right there. You have a massive built-in customer base, because all these people that you bring your friends to the lake house in the summer. It's you know, it's a party central, right? So you find people that have those, people who own apartment buildings, people who own housing developments, things like that, and you sell them on it. That's how you bring in a customer base for these AirNodes. And so that's something, you know, as we move on and we have to start doing some of this work ourselves, that's something to consider. It's do we know people that own businesses? Do we know people that have some say over what goes on in these housing developments? You know, we start thinking in those terms. That's how you get a built-in customer base, like Cal was talking about. Where we're having to do a little bit more of the work and the heavy lifting, that, other than maybe World Mobile and Reno. So talking with Cal, learning what he's been seeing, has really started to open my eyes to what could that mean for me? How could this work outside of Reno? I think within Reno, it's you know, I think I think you guys, if you want to get more heavily involved in Reno, buddy up with Cal. You know, say, hey Cal, I got a business proposal for you, because Cal's been there. Cal has contacts there. Cal knows what's going on. Cal knows the area. And so all of a sudden now it's, you know, Cal has the inside advantage as to where should we put things, where should we go, which hexes do we want? And you know, Cal knows how to make it happen. So that's one thing that I've been chit-chatting with him about too. But so Cal, I'm what I'm trying to do right now is just blow up your inbox and blow up your DMs with stuff. He's going to text me and say, knock it off. But you know, it's who you know, it's do you know the layout, and how can you connect to these things, are going to give you the most opportunity to grow, no matter if you have a large one or a smaller AirNode. And it's a very exciting proposition.
Nicely stated. There's one more video I want to jump into very briefly here, and then we'll jump into the main bit of today's stream, which is the AirNode rewards dashboard. We've got that backstage right now. Again, if you guys are just tuning into the stream, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, leave those in the live chat. For anybody who's watching the replay, leave those down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, check out that description. There's official links to Rob's X as well as Clover Notes X, where they basically provide updates as soon as they break here with respect to World Mobile. That said, let's take a look at this very last clip here, and then we'll jump into that reward dashboard.
My other providers have been, and those two companies were absolutely disastrous. I mean, who has, you know, half a day to call on the phone and get transferred around just for someone to try to sell you a mobile phone, you know, a phone. And so when the gentleman from World Mobile came by and explained what you had to offer, honestly, it was like a dream come true. And it hasn't gone down once. So it's, you know, made my business much better.
That was interesting. She mentioned a gentleman coming up and introducing World Mobile Tour, you know. So I'm wondering, number one, who is that? But then number two, are they just kind of going door to door? How are they acquiring these new customers in those areas? Again, I think this is going to be a strategic advantage, especially as the network is super young, before we really get mass adoption. Obviously, once there's mass adoption, everybody knows about it. Word of mouth helps to spread things around. But up until then, I think it's going to be very advantageous for people to try different ways to onboard people into their networks, but then also to have them spread the good word about World Mobile. All right. So we've gone through quite a bit there. Let's jump into this big piece. We have the release of the AirNode rewards dashboard. And of course, we've got our very own AirNode operator here, Clover Nodes. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear first, like, how did it feel, right, when you got this? before you show us, right? The revenue, I think, has been a pretty big point. I've seen you actually going back and forth with a couple of people that were basically saying that the revenue isn't real, that it's, blah, blah, blah. I would love to hear about that as well. Like, what's your take on that? Obviously, you own the AirNode, right? Obviously, as an operator, and like those rewards are there for you. But again, the floor is open. We're listening. And if there's anything that you don't want to share, don't feel like you have to share everything. Again, this is a huge bit of alpha that you're giving us here, that you by no means have to. So we do appreciate you for doing that.
First of all, I am an open book. So like I don't mind sharing my dashboard. I don't mind sharing my experience. I mean, this is after all a sharing economy and an open community. So I feel as the more people are aware of what's happening, the bigger this is going to get. So I am by all means very happy to share all these. And the videos you showed, I mean, I want to go back to that because I really like this marketing approach. I love these videos because when I was up in Reno, I can really relate to this lady because I got an Airbnb up there. I did a lot of research as to what service is being offered currently in Reno, and in reality, there's not much, And I was talking to my Airbnb host. I spoke to various like people on the ground, my Uber drivers, my Lyft drivers, everyone that I could possibly talk to. It was the same thing. We have only one option here, and it sucks, and it's overpriced, and we're wanting something else. So as I was sharing them what World Mobile was and the possibilities, people like were super excited about it. They were listening to me with open arms and said, hey, where can I sign up for this? So there is a sales team up in Reno currently, and they are going door to door. They're signing up people with broadband, with cellular, and all of these other things, and it's happening. What the community might not be seeing it, but when I was up there, I met the team, and it's happening. They're working night and day, 24/7, no breaks. They're getting customers onboarded, so it's the real deal. Like it's really happening, and it's very exciting. But there was someone in the chats, I think it was Mick, who asked what's going to happen on the 31st in 5 days, right? So essentially, the sharing economy is going to get turned on, right? And this is when we'll start seeing batch one operators such as myself and many others that purchase in batch one basically claim their rewards, right? And this is just going to validate that the sharing economy is working, right? It's profitable, and it's paying people back. So that's what they mean and what's going to happen in 5 days. Now, someone else, before I share my my dashboard, someone else asked about taxes, right? I mean, I'm no accountant here. I'm not your CPA by any means, but what I've done is that I've opened up an LLC here in the United States, and this is only for people that are from the United States. And this is, I will obviously, it's an income tax, right? So I probably need to, not probably, but I do need to pay taxes on that. So look into opening up your own company if you're going into this, and definitely talk to your tax advisor who will give you a little more information on that, but treat it as an income and make sure you go pay your taxes because that's very important.
And
if you're outside,
this is a business, so you have to treat it as so.
Right. Yeah. If you're outside United States, then honestly, I have no idea. Again, talk to your tax advisor. Just be aware that there probably will be some tax implications with that. So, not financial advice. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, let me get it up now. You should be live to the public.
All right, cool. So everyone knows this website, airnode.worldmobile.io. This is your map right here, right? And then you have your dashboard right here. So if you go to dashboard, and this is my dashboard, everyone. So currently I have 2 AirNodes that are live, right? Here is their locations. And that's my earnings so far. So this is the earnings from July for both AirNodes combined. It's in USD, right? And currently these are my earnings in June, right over here. So this is what I earned in June. And once the 31st comes, this button right here, it's going to go live, and I am going to be able to claim these rewards that I've earned from June and July, right? And I'm going to be able to withdraw them in my bank account and do whatever I wish with them as I please, right? Now, when we talked about acquiring customers, right, and who takes care of that, there's two tabs right here that are very, very interesting that I want to point out. So this is the SIM of the eSIM one, right? So it says coming soon right here. And the referrals as well, coming soon, right? So you can actually earn rewards for referring users and also earn additional rewards for onboarding people getting on broadband and using the eSIM service that World Mobile is going to be announcing eventually. So I myself, right, will be visiting Reno up again, and I'm going to be approaching businesses in the areas that my two AirNodes are servicing, right? And I'm going to be either door knocking, talking to them, like telling them about the benefits of World Mobile and all the stuff that World Mobile is doing themselves. I'm going to go up there and do it on my own. Why? Because the more customers my AirNodes are servicing, the bigger this revenue that you guys see right here grows, right? Which is very important to me. Now, I'm taking this approach on my own, and obviously, I'm not sure if any other AirNode operator is going to do that or if they're going to be relying on the third party doing that. But these are the opportunities that this could bring. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, and I'd maybe like to extend that to the viewers here as well. If you guys have any questions about, what Clover is currently showing, his AirNode rewards dashboard, let us know. Could you maybe walk us through the different tabs on the left-hand side? And then, Rob, if you got any questions, we can come to you after that as well.
Yeah, so obviously the tabs right here, my locations, I think that this is just for a location if you're a host. So if you have a rooftop in Reno that you would like to share, you would go to this tab right here and you would add location, right? So this is right here, and then it would lead me to a location. I put my phone number, and I'm assuming that we're gonna go through step 1, 2, 3, 4. They're gonna ask for an address. They're gonna evaluate if my housing it's already being serviced or if it's in a good location. That's for something for the World Mobile team to decide if they wish to onboard you as a host, right? Now, when it comes to these third-party Hex Guardians, they're going to be in charge of getting not only customers, right, using the network, but they also will be acquiring hosts, because this is another step of the sharing economy, right? You have your customers using the network and as well as the hosts. Messages, these are just messages that I've had, right before the batch 1 started. This goes live and it shows you every single location that a host is available. So you would need to contact the host and say, hey, my name is such and such, I would love to be an operator. And then you guys make a contract, and that's when the AirNodes go up, right? Installers, this is a third-party installers that you can contact. Once you purchase your AirNodes, you contact them here and they go out to your specific hex and location and they put your AirNode up. These are your packages right here. Currently, there's 3 packages. In batch 2, there's going to be a lot more than 3 packages. That's what has been announced so far. And what we have heard is there's going to be options from $700 to $15,000, right? There's going to be CPE devices that people are going to be able to put in their house. They're going to act as a Wi-Fi, as a CBRS node, and as an IoT device as well. So these are going to be most likely the cheapest option that anyone can put in their house and install them and provide connectivity, as well as the Portal 180, the Portal 360, and the Titan, which I'm not sure if the Titans are going to be offered, but we're going to have to wait and see what the batch 2 drop 1 offers. This is support. Obviously, you can contact support, FAQ questions about the specific nodes. So that's what the tabs on the left are.
All right, so I've got a couple of questions here. I'm not sure, Rob, if you have any that you want to ask first, but I have one here for Clover. So I'll give you the opportunity to go first. If you don't have anything, I'll go ahead and drop mine. All right, so first things first, Do you mind sharing what type of nodes you have? You just showed the 3 there. I believe it's the 180, the 360, and the Titan. Which ones are you currently operating?
So I have 2 of the Portal 180s.
Got it. Got it. So knowing that, and I mean, seeing the initial revenue, I mean, to me, that's mind-boggling. If I'm being honest, I didn't expect for it to be that high. And the reason why is based off of what we've seen so far for WMT scan and those air nodes, right? So it seems like there's a huge discrepancy between what's actually available or the data that's being shown on the WMT scan website versus what you're currently earning. Now, I know that there's another member who's also operating, I believe it's a Titan. I would love to maybe hear a little bit more about their revenue. Obviously, they're not here. But just doing a little bit of math here, based off of what you've invested, and again, I'm not sure if you and CB split things half and half or how you guys sort of divvy that up, but just generally speaking, if somebody who wants to purchase one of these purchases the whole thing themselves, they're looking at about a year to a year and and a half or so, right, to pay all of that back. So from an investment standpoint, it doesn't actually seem too bad given how much you've earned so far at such an early stage. I don't see the network shrinking, for lack of better terms, right? So I only see it growing. And if you're earning that much already and more people sign up in Reno, then the only thing that's going to happen is that you're just going to make more, right? So just to be able to see that, I think has been really, really interesting. Now, of course, just like with anything, there might be months where, things are up and down, but it is really good to at least see that there's that much revenue coming in at such an early stage. My next question before we maybe turn it back over to Rob is about the contracts. You mentioned the messages page showing contracts, with different people. Did you have to, create the contract yourself and actually hand that over to CB? Or was there something included on the World Mobile platform, or did they give you some sort of template to kind of get the conversation rolling?
Yeah, so let me go back to a few of your first question. So essentially, CB has his own dashboard, right? This is a dashboard just for an operator. So what you see of my earnings here, right, is just for me. CB earns a percentage of the total earnings for himself. So he has a completely separate dashboard, completely separate earnings from me, right? So if you go right here on the Explorer, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Actually, sorry, it's not in the Explorer. It's right next to the Explorer. It's the earning calculator. So you have the
Oh,
host, right? And this is what they can earn depending on how many subscribers you have on your node. You have the operator, right? Who is
I
me,
apologize.
and your
I'm
payback period.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, Clover.
Uh-huh.
So we're still seeing the AirNode dashboard here with the 540
Oh,
rewards points. So you may have
okay.
to jump into a different tab if you were showing something else.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Now you guys can see it. So here's your
Yeah.
earning calculator, right? So let's go back to what I was saying. So this is what the host is earning depending on how many subscribers they have. You can go up and down on the slider, right? And this is what CB earns as a host. Now I am the operator, right? So this is what I would be earning depending on how many subscribers this AirNode offers and depending on the type of AirNode that you have over here. And obviously you can as well be a host and an operator, meaning if you have a rooftop and if you wish to purchase one of these 3 options and obviously many, many more options once the batches go live, then you would be earning the max amount just because you are the operator and the host of that infrastructure. Now, you could purchase a 180 if you wish, just like I did. And once you prefer, you can call the team, email them, and they will gladly upgrade it to a 360, right? So if I wish to do that, I can call them or email them, and they would upgrade my node to a 360. Now, the Titan works in a very interesting way because they offer essentially something very interesting, a band 71, right? And they get an Overwatch fee from every single node that is provided on the network. So if you own a 180, right, portal or 360, which is a CBRS, that both CBRS nodes, your nodes eventually, right, once they start servicing a cellular network, they will be paying an Overwatch fee for the Titans. So these Titans, even though they're very, very pricey, eventually they're going to be earning from every single node on the network. So that's very, very profitable and very exciting, not financial advice. Now, going back to my earnings, right, which you guys can see right here, dashboard. Let's go back. Now, what you guys see right here, it's about 40, a little over 40% APY for each node, right? Which, like you said, Fareed, takes about a year and something to be paid off. And the most exciting thing is that this is just the beginning, right? So, I mean, I haven't even gone up in Reno and I haven't even like emailed one customer. I haven't even attempted anything to onboard customers. So, this is just the beginning. So, what you guys see right now is not going to look like this in 4 months and 6 months and 12 months and 18 months. This network is just getting started. So, to be earning 40% on my investment, I'm very, very happy with this. I think it's a great way to earn. So, and sorry, what was your second question?
The
About the
second question
contract,
was
right?
about the contracts.
Yeah, right. So the contract is the same for everyone that went in batch one. I'm not 100% what the contract is going to look like and if it's going to be changed on batch two, but it was the same for everyone, right? So the contract was between me, the operator, the host, CB, and World Mobile as a third party. So that's who the contract was between. And it would be shared with you as soon as you jump in messages, right? And both of you, the host and the operator, agree to jump in a contract. This contract is shared and you would have to sign it as well as World Mobile, as well as the host. And yeah, I don't have the contract on me, but if anyone wants to get involved, it's going to be available in batch two for you to see.
Yeah, again, big thank you for sharing so much there with us. It's always a learning session, which is why I really recommend it for all the listeners and viewers here to jump in X. Make sure you're following the both of these guys here. Rob, I mean, what are your thoughts, man? I know for me, again, I didn't even realize that the earnings were split that way and like that everybody's got their own separate dashboard, but just that amount alone is really impressive. And Clover, I've got another question, and Rob, I know I just asked you to ask a question and I jumped in with my own question. But like, are you getting any stats from the team about how many people connected to your AirNode, how much data was consumed, etc.? And has there maybe been any plans or thoughts from the team to release that information to the different hosts and operators?
Yeah, so this is going to go live eventually. I think personally it's going to go live with batch two from my understanding. And currently we're just seeing the upload and downloads as synchronizing. And it's not really shared exactly how many customers my AirNodes are servicing. But I think, like I said, this is going to go live with batch two. So I'm not
Got it.
able to see anything more than what the community is able to see as far as like customers go.
Got it. While we shift over to Rob very quickly here, there is a question from Mick about the potential earnings here. So if you've got any thoughts about that, Clover, feel free to go ahead and respond there in the chat. All right, Rob, I'm done stealing the show here. Over to you. What are your thoughts about the dashboard that was just shared?
I think Cal did an amazing job. I think he did an amazing job going through everything, and it's very clear and easy to understand. World Mobile's done a great job of building this out and showing you what the possibilities are. And like Cal pointed out, there'll be things that will come in future updates that will show the potential for additional earnings, such as the eSIM. You know, if you can get people to use your affiliate codes and do things, they sign up under you, then you'll earn a portion of that every month. I think it's a great opportunity for people. I really like how Cal talked about he got an LLC. I think it's very important because, you know, things can happen that can make you liable potentially if you're the owner of something. I don't want to even speculate on what that could be, but I think it's always good to separate so you have the things for the AirNode under a security blanket, you know, under an umbrella that's away from your personal finances. You'd hate for something to happen, you know, if you had a rental house and the rental house is just in your name, and because you didn't take care of the electrical stuff, the house burned up and killed 3 people. You'd hate for them to come back and sue you personally and lose your house and everything else because you were held personally liable because the house was in your name and all these things. That's why people have rental houses. They put them in an LLC. It gives a little bit of separation and a little bit of security blanket and coverage there for things that go wrong, because then it's the fault of the business, not the individual. And it's all about protecting your assets. And I think Cal's done a great job of looking into that, figuring out how he wants to do that. The other thing that World Mobile's talked about is getting the insurance on it, and they're going to offer that through the dashboard, finding ways to insure these things. So if there's a lightning strike, if there's some mechanical problems that break, and these things are insured, I mean, that would cut into your profits a little bit, but I can't imagine it being that much, because you get insurance on a $150,000 house as maybe a landlord, you're paying about $100 a month for it. And so if you have a $20,000 AirNode or a $10,000 AirNode, the likelihood is the insurance on that is not going to be what it would be to own a house. And so I don't think it would cut too much. I mean, you might shave a few percentage points off of things, and maybe Cal's looked into that as well a little bit more. But I think it's important that you have protection here, because this is a high dollar device, and you want this to be able to earn long term. And so if things go wrong, you want to be covered financially and covered with the device as well, if possible.
Yeah, you raised a really good point there. Again, going back to the taxes question earlier, we really have to treat this as a business. And that's one way to protect yourself in the business, is by using or covering everything under the LLC umbrella. That said, any maybe sort of closing thoughts around that batch? If there's any questions from the community, now would be the time to ask them. If not, excuse me, not that batch, around the AirNode reward dashboard. If not, I think we could probably close out today's stream here by quickly touching on some of the points that Manny sent over to us right about the second batch and what we know so far. Looks like we got one question here coming in from Mick. Is this public info yet that we can read about somewhere, or are they still hacking on the formulas? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about there, Mick. Are you talking or referring to the response from Clover? It sounds like he might be. So Clover, if you want to chime in here, more than welcome to.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's not public. The team will be releasing like more information on this, essentially almost like a booklet of how all of this is going to work and what it looks like as far as profits and things of that nature. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see if we got any more questions. I don't believe so. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get Manny to join us here earlier today, or for today's stream, but he did send us a couple of items here just to quickly highlight, which I want to take an opportunity to do. So then maybe we could kind of go around in a circle here, giving our thoughts as to what that potentially means. So I know Clover already mentioned the price points. Clover, you mentioned, I think you said a range from $750 to $15,000, right? Where the first batch, I think, was 9,000 to the Titan, which was like 100,000, right? So lowering that 9,500 all the way down at 750, I think obviously is a huge piece there. So from just an accessibility standpoint, that should be there. Now, one thing that we don't have any numbers around is the actual amount of AirNodes that will be available. I think if there's going to be such a wide range of different prices or pricing available, I'm wondering how many will actually be out for the community. I would assume if there's lower prices that they'd be able to provide more, or at least sell more for the second batch. I think batch number 1 was just a total of 20, if I'm not mistaken, right? I want to say it was 10 Titans and then 10 of the 180s or the 360s. But what are your guys' thoughts around that? Have you guys heard anything about the quantity for batch number 2?
I believe from the previous spaces, which was in June, they said that it's going to be over 500 notes, close to 1,000 notes being released in different batches. So batch 2 will have different drops, not only one drop. So it's going to be multiple drops. And what's really exciting to me, at least, is the amount of time they mention it's going to take for these to go live. So they've learned a lot from batch 1 when it comes to things. And batch 1 took about a month and a half, I believe, for purchasing, for them to go out, install it, test the nodes. And from my understanding and what the team has shared so far, it's going to be a lot quicker than that. Meaning we might see AirNodes being purchased and go live within about a week or two. Makes a huge difference.
That's massive. But you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the rollout in Pakistan, right? It's almost like Zanzibar. It was like, a couple per day, a couple per day, a few every now and then. And then Pakistan came out of nowhere and like dwarfed the deployment time and the amount of air nodes deployed in Zanzibar in like a month or two. So I think this sort of the way that they iterate applies to a lot. So just to be able to see that with the air nodes here as well, I think is huge. I think there's one last piece, and I think you may have actually touched on this. We talked about accessibility. Generating revenue and scaling beyond Reno. So that's actually, I think, the third point that we haven't touched on yet. So again, these are talking points that were sent to us earlier by Manny, highlighting the fact that there's going to be coverage across a much wider region in northern Nevada. So maybe Rob, you have any thoughts there about either of those 3 points: accessibility, revenue, scaling, and then just the speed?
My only thought that I think is maybe even worth the darn at the moment, since I'm kind of inexperienced with a lot of this, is the revenue. And I think it's important to know there's opportunities to increase that revenue. It's going to take a little bit more effort and maybe a little bit of luck as well. But I think that it's important to think about, we're kind of lucky with the earth nodes, because even if you bought on the secondary market, you paid a premium for it. There is the things earn, but when you are considering if you want to sell it, or you want to say, I can't do this anymore, you have 100,000 WMT embedded in that earth node that you can forfeit the earth node and reclaim that, or you can sell on the secondary market, and nothing's going to change the fact that there's 100,000 WMT in there. So there's an embedded value that you got to maintain if you do decide that you don't want to do it anymore, you can't manage it, whatever the case is. The only thing I have concerns about here is getting the revenue back quickly with these air nodes. I want to see it so that you're seeing a massive turnaround. I'm talking more than 50% in a year. I'm talking 60, 70, 90% in that first 12 months. That should be the goal. So you really need to work your tail off, because this is technology. And while these things are built to last for a while, World Mobile might evolve past this technology. It's going to become obsolete, and you're going to need to continue to update. So does that mean updating a new circuit board, updating a component in there, or does that mean that you need to get an entirely new one to keep up with the new tech? And you don't want to be stuck buying one, putting no effort into this thing, and watching, yay, great, we're getting 20% back annually. That's going to take 5 years to pay the thing off. And then by the time it's paid off, there might not be a value left for that piece of equipment, or it's very, very little. So I think it's important that we either take an active role, or we find a way to get somebody else to take an active role in what we're doing. And that's what Cal talked about with the Hex Guardians that Mickey talked about. And Cal's more knowledgeable about this than I am, but finding ways to maximize profit early. Cal has a first mover advantage right now because he got a prime spot. He knows the area, and he's generating revenue before others do. So it's very, very possible that picks up as people in Reno learn more about World Mobile and they want to come on board. It's going to benefit him as more people in his area start to use it normally. And so I think we just need to keep that in mind. Passive revenue is great, buying from a distance and letting somebody else host it for you. You need to be strategic about this, though. You need to have some ideas. Cal's already talking about how he can make this work to increase that revenue, because the quicker he can get that, the quicker he's paid off, the quicker he's in the clear, and then it's all profit from there on out. If you're holding out hope that in 4 years you break even because you're not doing a darn thing, at that point, you might be in trouble. You might be barely breaking even on this if you need to update. So that's the one thing that worries me is, can I be enough if I'm not there? can I find a way to make this work if I'm not there? That's what I love about what World Mobile is doing, is they're considering those options, and they're trying to put things in place to allow you to. You still have to put some effort into it, whether it's just on your computer or whatnot, but finding those opportunities and maximizing it is going to maximize your potential to make some profit off of this.
Yeah, and you raised a really good point there earlier about the cost of the tech, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind there as well when thinking about these as investments. Clover, looks like, I mean, you should have a couple of people reaching out here. I see James who's interested. Looks like he'll be contacting you, and then I also see Seth Shepard, excuse me, who's mentioned he's interested in reaching out to you as well. So again, check out the descriptions down below. X accounts are down there, and you guys should be able to send Clover a DM. All right. We've got a question here coming in from York or Yorich about different types of vouchers from using the World Mobile application, not just scan for points. So he states here, I've got a lot of friends who want to scan and join the project, but they feel a little unmotivated due to the lack of reward or benefits. Do we know if there's going to be any count of vouchers available? And then there's a follow-up comment here stating, I'm referring to the mobile application, just clarifying so there won't be any confusion. If you're speaking about scan for points specifically, I believe that those points will be able to be used for those third-party services, but I'm not sure if there's been any more information about that since then. Rob or Cal, feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect in stating that.
Yeah, we've pressed this with Manny a little bit, and they're still working out the formula for how it's going to work. I mean, we just had a massive update, and points went from 5 per hex to 10, and also with the new smart scan application in there, you're getting a lot more. I mean, I watched one guy, I was ahead of him by 50,000 points in a matter of 5 days. He was 180,000 points in front of me. You can make a lot of points real quick. So, I mean, but that's also covering a lot of area, and it's saturating it because you're hitting every hex as opposed to 1 out of every 40 or 1 out of every 50 on the on the map when you're just scanning one pulse per minute. So, you know, I think they're still trying to work out the formula for what these points are going to be worth, but they've talked about that they'll be, you can transfer them to credit for your World Mobile account. They've talked about maybe swapping them for actual crypto within the World Mobile wallet within the app. That's going to be that's a feature that's coming. They've talked about transferring them over and getting things like those gift cards that are already on the store there within the app. And so I think right now we're at a wait and see point for what they're worth, but definitely trying to build up as much as you can, cover your area. Mickey's talked about every time Mickey comes on a space, I ask Mickey specifically, I every time I say, Mickey, how can we get more involved? What can we do to help World Mobile? How can we set ourselves up for future involvement with World Mobile? What do you need from us? You know, I'm thinking he might say this or that. He might say, hey, we're hiring this, we're doing this, or this is how World Mobile. Every time Mickey says, I need you to go scan, it's going to help them figure out where they need to focus their efforts, which areas of the United States, which other countries, where is there the need for it. They can also sell that scanning data, not your data, but what they're getting from what's in the area, the Wi-Fi signals, the different cellular signals. They can sell that for millions of dollars potentially per city. Some of these companies pay just a ton of money for this. So it's a revenue stream for World Mobile by us doing that, and that by them selling that data, that's how they're going to able to help fund these rewards that they're going to give us for these points. So scanning is a very important thing right now. Again, it's just more for ego and ranking and being competitive, but eventually it's going to turn into something where there is going to be a value that will translate to dollars and cents.
Yeah, and just as a follow-up here, looks like York mentioned that he believes that that'll, or they, I don't know if that's a he or she, believes that will help to skyrocket the numbers of users. Of course, I definitely think so. One thing to definitely keep in mind that if it is the WMTX token or just the native token for World Mobile, what are people's next attentions with that, right? So do keep that in mind, whether they plan on holding that, selling that, whatever the case is, because as you're providing people with rewards, they're obviously going to want to take advantage of those and potentially cash those in. That said, I think that'll probably bring us here towards the latter end here of the stream. Clover, did you want to add something there?
Just real quick, I just wanted to irradiate that scanning for points it's important, right? But I feel as the team wants to essentially change the name, because it's not only scanning for points, right? Just like Rob said, I mean, people currently see it as a almost as a race for you. Hey, who's going to have the most points to turn in this into a dollar amount? But it's so much bigger than that, right? Because it essentially gives the proper data for World Mobile to find out where the exact location these AirNodes going to be installed, right? But it's not only for World Mobile to find out where these locations are going to be installed, it's for people that want to be involved in the sharing economy. So someone like myself. Now, this data that we're currently given to World Mobile and being paid back with points and essentially eventually cash, right? This data is going to go on the Explorer, and we're going to start seeing heat maps as to where the least amount of connectivity is, which will give you, as someone who wants to install an infrastructure, the exact location where this infrastructure needs to go, right? So, for example, it's super important right now to figure out where in Reno these locations are. And once we start seeing that applied to the Explorer, this is going to make a day and night difference. So I feel as scanning is very, very, very important.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, yeah, the data obviously goes straight to World Mobile. They're able to, figure out where can we best deploy, but then that comes straight back to us as potential AirNode operators to understand, okay, where's the gap and where's an earning opportunity for me to actually deploy and to go out and find a potential host if I don't live in that area. So really, really good point. I appreciate you chiming in and highlighting that there. Now, there's an earlier comment that came in here from Copace1. Has anybody else had trouble with Scan for Points featuring a black map? It comes and goes. Sometimes it shows green hexes as it should, but at the time it's an all black background. Rob, did you want to highlight anything here?
Yeah, Cal and I and a few others are in a kind of a test group for the scanning, and this is an issue that's come up from the public in the different forums and Discord and whatnot. But also, Rick Middleton and I have been raising these issues because we're experiencing them personally, and I can not really see the map very often. It comes and goes. I might see it for 30 seconds or a minute out of a scan, and then it disappears again. So I don't know what I'm scanning. If I do see the green and orange, it shows everything I'm scanning in blue, but still processing, not turning from blue to orange. So there's definitely some hiccups, and I'm wondering if it's because, I mean, they've onboarded about 25% more people just in the past month or so. I think, we were just above 2,000 when this turned on, and now there's like 2,800. So there's definitely a lot more going on, more inputs coming to the program, and I think it's something that they're actively working on getting it so it's working live. For some people aren't having problems at all, and some folks are, but they're aware of it. And again, it's not one of these things where sucks to be you. No, I'm I'm dealing with it too. Rick Middleton's dealing with it too on a daily basis, and we're I work in the city, pretty big area, even though I live out in the middle of nowhere. So they're aware of it. It's something that they're actively working on. But again, what the nice thing is, you can't see where you're going necessarily a lot of the time. You can't see what you're scanning during the scan. Sometimes if you're experiencing this glitch, you're still getting the points. It might take a little bit longer for it to register, but the scans are working. Sometimes it takes an hour or 2 hours from the time I finish the scan, but I'll look and I'll notice that the points have updated on my leaderboard. So I wouldn't worry about it right now. It's not a you issue. It's a thing that they're aware of, and many people are feeling it. But the only thing it really affects is, should I take this road or this road? Should I take this side street or continue on the main road? What have I done? What haven't I done? that get a little frustrating, but I think maybe we're spoiled because this new version of the app is so freaking good that it's when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, how do I live? I can't do this anymore. And the reality is, we did that for so long where we didn't know anything, and we didn't even know when points were going to show up. I mean, Cal, remember that we were so excited. I woke up one morning and I texted Cal, "Hey, points are in. What rank are you?" Because the rankings just came out for the first time, and so I think that yes, we want everything to be perfect. This is a great app. It's going to be incredible once they add these few new things they're working on as well. And so I just keep going with it, keep scanning, and just kind of, if your map isn't working, make a mental note of what you've done over the past 3 months. I do notice that my map has started to reset from when the green and orange and blue hexes became visible for the first time, or not blue, I guess, but when it would actually show after 2 days. Remember, it was all green, and then after 2 days, it would update and show you the orange ones sporadically as you drive. And so that's when we were doing the walking, and we were doing walking, and we'd set it so we'd know where the hex was, and then we just walk to the next one. We wouldn't know that we'd covered it or not because it hadn't turned orange or anything for 2 days, but we just take these slow routes. We did that out in the farm, out in the fields. My kids would go for a walk, and they just walk from hex to hex 1 minute at a time to make sure they got it. All my fields have reset. Some of the routes that I took, initially have reset, and so those points are now available again because they said every 90 days they're going to do that. So now you can go back, and the reason that this is really good is because they want fresh data. They want that data. If they sell it one time, they might go to sell it to somebody and it's 9 months old. They might go to say, hey, what do we need here to deploy resources? And it's 9 months old. If you can continue to get that data and reset it, it's going to give them up-to-date information that's going to benefit their decision making.
Yeah, really good point about the freshness or the staleness of the data, and why, again, this not only benefits World Mobile, but anybody else that could potentially be leveraging that to help us identify or to fix that Swiss cheese problem. We've got one final question that I'll probably be taking it from York or Yorich, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up today's live stream. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in and joining us here for this update. This states here, I've got one final question. When scanning for points, what's the difference between the 5-second heartbeat and the 1 minute heartbeat? The 5-second heartbeat seems to benefit me mostly because I can scan faster, but what is the quality of the data actually being sent? So it sounds like you said the same there, Rob. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's any actual points benefits depending on the scan heartbeats. I would think if the option is available, scan with maybe the faster heartbeat. But yeah, maybe that's a question for more of the technical team members at World Mobile. Obviously, none of them are here with us, but that is a really good question, York. Again, if you've got any more of those really, really nuanced questions, don't hesitate to jump into the Discord. The team is always well and able to answer some of those for you. Again, I think that'll do it here for today's live stream. I would like to turn it over to either one of you, right? If you guys want to maybe recap the upcoming event at Rare Evo, how people can get in touch with you guys, and then we'll go ahead and close out today's stream.
I will go first. Yeah, so Rare Evo is going to be a very, very exciting event. Me and Rob have been working very, very hard to make sure the community has a good time. So if you are on the verge of going to Rare Evo, it's an amazing event, very community focused. And I met every single person, including these two beautiful gentlemen on our stream today, live at these events. So I think it's a great networking event. I think that us having a community booth there will really, really, truly, remarkably show how powerful World Mobile community is. It's going to gather everyone together, and it's going to be very fun. So don't be shy. I personally was very, very shy the first time I went because I was like, oh my God, I don't know anyone in this community. I'm not sure what to do, who to talk to. I don't want to be that one guy sitting at the bar. It's absolutely not that. Trust me, it's the complete opposite. As soon as you show up wearing a World Mobile shirt, someone's going to approach you and start talking to you. You're going to have a friend immediately. It's a really fun event. So if you're like on the verge of going, I really recommend you go there and meet some people because the community is amazing. Now, we talked about a few different things, and then we pointed out a few different things on this stream, right? It was I believe it was generating revenue from AirNodes. It was scaling, and it was speed, right? So just real quick, I want to go back to the generating revenue topic that we talked about, and I wanted to point out something and truly appreciate how World Mobile is approaching this, right? Because essentially they're allowing every single person who wishes to be involved in this, right, to be involved in the sharing economy. I mean, a lot of people could not afford batch number 1, right? It was a little bit high, but with this, it allowed the team to technically test every single thing when it comes to purchasing AirNodes, installing AirNodes, and this will change dramatically. Why would it change dramatically? Because they're lowering the barrier in batch number 2 by a lot. I would say probably over 90%, right? I mean, they're allowing people to purchase AirNodes for close to $700. Now, this hasn't been like it hasn't been announced yet, but they have mentioned these numbers on various different streams, right? So it lowers the barrier for people to enter, and as well as it allows people to enter not only with pricing, but people can actually be in the sharing economy through different various skills they have, right? So if some people might not even be able to afford batch 2, but they're now able to get into it by offering their marketing skills, from what we learned from Mickey as a Hex Guardian, right? You might not be able to buy one of these AirNodes for whatever reason, but essentially you're going to be able to onboard customers through eSIMs, through onboarding them through broadband and various different things. Now, scaling is very, very tied down to speed. And from what we saw and learned from the first batch is that the team is now going to be able to onboard these AirNodes at a much, much faster speed and rate, right? It took about a month and a half for us AirNode operators on batch 1 to be onboarded. Now that's going to be dropping down to, I guess, 1 or 2 weeks, which makes a huge difference in barrier for entry for AirNode operators. And as far as scam for points goes, I mean, that's, like I said, I'm going to go back and say it again. That's probably like the most important thing that the community can be doing right now. Scanning and not earning points, right, which everyone wants to do, but actually giving that information to World Mobile and potential AirNode operators once those heat maps go live in the Explorer, which is going to be super, super important. So again, I'm going to go back to Rare and just wanted to just take the time and thank everyone that sponsored the Alliance so far, what the many things they've been sending us, you know, LVLC, what's sponsoring the first event. We have Mr. Miyagi sending the keychains that are going to be available for everyone to pick up. You know, he took the time, he personally made those, and that's super cool that he's able to send those to the Alliance for the entire community to have on hand. As well as Mark, you know, Mark, who runs EarthNode.io. He's an EarthNode operator. Last year, he made a bunch of hats for us. Fareed, you got some. Rob, you're wearing one right now. I got one myself. I love that hat. It's probably my favorite hat. I wear it all the time. He's going to be sponsoring our booth one more time, and he's going to be bringing things. He actually, you guys going to see the 2 banners that you're going to see on the booth. Those are going to be sponsored by Mark. So shout out to Mark. He's a great community member, and many other people. You know, you guys are going to see. There's going to be so many EarthNode operators going to be there. It's going to be a very exciting event, and I can't wait to see everyone. So that's all that comes to my mind. So thanks for everyone for being here, and I will see you guys on the next stream. And again, thank you, Fareed, for having us as usual. It is much appreciated. Yes.
No, it's a pleasure. And again, thank you for taking the time to share your dashboard here with us as a bit of alpha. So, again, I think we feed off each other. And as you mentioned, the community, that's what really keeps us together. And looking forward to meeting up with you. Rob, of course, might see Eric out there, Chad, Jeff, you name them. I'm ready to run into them and to hang out and catch up again. It's one thing to chat online, but it's a whole nother thing to actually meet up and be able to be in the same physical presence as everybody else. All right. Rob, you want to close us out?
Sure. It's Rare Evo is on our mind, and if you're not going, I apologize, because it's what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to until probably about a month after it's over. But there's a lot going on with World Mobile, and it's fun to see all the big things that are happening, the different locations throughout the world, the opportunities that they're providing. But it's a lot of fun to know that we can take this community that's international that we're building and get together, and meeting in person and connecting in person it's my favorite part about it. I don't know that I'd be as active or involved or want to be if I wasn't putting this effort forth for people that I care about. I've had the opportunity to meet many, many people that here in this community in person. Cal and I, we've been doing the EarthNode Alliance. It'll be almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November that we started it with our first space. And the people that we've met there, and a lot of them we met for the first time because they were an EarthNode operator guests on one of those spaces. We got to meet them in person. Others we haven't met yet, but it's you truly just develop a friendship and a care and a concern for these people, because we're so like-minded. We do so many things. We want to go in the same direction. So being able to express that in person makes it more real. It gives me energy. It makes me want to be more involved. And I don't think if we had the alliance, I don't think if we had started that 2 years ago, at Rare Evo, by the way, it was called Rare Bloom at the time, but that's where the idea came to fruition. That's where we decided to do it. It was 2 years ago at Rare. I don't know that I wouldn't own as many Earth nodes. I wouldn't probably be considering an AirNode. I wouldn't know half the people here without the alliance. And so very, very thankful for that, especially for the people that we've met. Community is the most important thing. It's what keeps you engaged. I was talking to my wife about something yesterday. I'm going to start doing this group fitness with a bunch of jiu-jitsu guys and wrestlers. And, it's one thing to go work out at the gym and you can slack off when you feel like you almost have an accountability because there's other people doing it with you. And if you're not there, they're going to question why you're not there. It encourages you to do more, to be better. And that's what I feel like this community does for me. It helps me to keep more on top of what World Mobile's doing. And so because we do these spaces, because we meet up in person, because we have this connection, it encourages me to do more for World Mobile, to be more involved with World Mobile, and to help other people, because I know that I see it in the messages, I see it in the communications that we all have. This helps people, and knowing that, it encourages me, and I get so much out of learning what other people are doing, because there's so much I don't know, and it's awesome. I love how the World Mobile team, Mickey, Manny, we haven't seen Mike in a little while, but Mike comes on these spaces and they share, and they give us input, and they feed us, and they encourage us. I would thought, hey, we're the fan club, right? We're supposed to be encouraging them. It's the opposite. They encourage us, and they are grateful for everything that we do as a community. So that's what really fires me up about Rare Evo. That's what fires me up about thinking about doing different meetups as we look at different parts of the year, different locations around the world. We don't want to just keep these all in the United States. So as we get closer to mainnet, as we get closer to token transitions and things like that, there's a lot going on, but it's important to remember that this is more than number go up. This is more than stock price go up. This is more than company grow. This is about us doing it together, and that's why I'm so involved. That's why I want to be here, and that's why I'm so looking forward to seeing everyone again at Rare Evo. It gives me energy. It feeds me. It makes me want to be more. Makes me want to do better. And so I'm very, very thankful for every opportunity that we have free to come on your channel. You're an amazing host. You do an incredible job orchestrating all of this. And it's fun because we get to sit back here and answer questions as opposed to think about where are we going next. You know, on the spaces that Cal and I run, sometimes we're like, oh crap, where do we go? What do we have to talk about? Who should we pull up on stage? And no, here you're the one doing all that stuff, and we get to sit back and really enjoy it. So it's great. But it's fun, it's encouraging, it's something that I think, because of what you're doing for Reed, because of the things that Cal does, these are things that are building World Mobile. It's building the community, and we get to express that in person at Rare Evo. And so I'm bringing it all back to that. But that's why we're talking about it so much. That's why we're looking forward to it so much. You know, Cal and I, we don't, Fareed, we none of us get paid to do this stuff. You know, Fareed, you have your own channel, but on the live streams, it's different, right? We're not paid to do this. We do this because we love it. We do it because we want to encourage other people. We want to build this community. And so that's what makes it even more real. It's like, hey, we don't need to be doing this. My kids are upstairs making noise right now. I can hear them. We want to be here. All of us want to be here. And that's why every week we look forward to doing this. So I hope that we get to see everybody at Rare. I hope that we get to connect, big hugs, high fives, handshakes, nods across the room, whatever it is. But it's fun. It's real. It makes World Mobile even better because we're able to do this thing together. So thank you guys very much.
I'd like to echo that sentiment. Thank you all for tuning in here. Really, really, really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible at Rare Eve. I'll be there myself. The countdown has officially begun. It's about 19 or so days out. It's really not that far out from this point. So again, we've got the World Mobile Alliance meetup. Make sure to go ahead and just join. Even if you don't have the shirts, come over there. I'm sure you'll end up with the shirt by the time that the event's over. We're looking forward to creating content, hugging everybody, shaking hands, and doing all that good stuff. Now, just looking at the calendar here, this will be on so the next time that we stream it will be on the 10th. And then we've got Rare Evo the following week or the weekend, which is the 15th to the 17th. So keep in mind that I believe we may either stream from the actual location there, or if we're not streaming, there should be a scheduled X space done by the World Mobile Alliance. But either way, you guys will definitely be hearing from us at the event live. And then, of course, as Rob mentioned, post-event, we'll definitely break down and talk about what we enjoyed and hopefully all the great people and faces that we're able to meet and hug for the first time. All right, that will do it here for today's stream. Really, really, really thank y'all for tuning in here. Eric, I appreciate you dropping in as well, staying for the whole entire stream. I mean, it's an hour and a half, so definitely do appreciate that. And shout out to him, man. He came from, I want to say, over like 500 to 600 miles. He drove over 500 to 600 miles last year and met myself at CNFTCon, gave me a super nice mug. I'm going to have to bring it on stream for the next show. And then he also gave Mickey a very nice mug as well. And these were like one of one. So definitely do appreciate all of the support there, Eric. All right, Kristen, always good to see you as well. Oklahoma. That's exactly where it was. Thank you there for keeping me honest. But yeah, that'll do it here for today's stream. Again, really, really great conversation. Thanks again to you, Clover, for being transparent, honest, and just sharing, right, what you didn't have to. Rob, always great to have you on here. You made some really, really great points there. Always get me thinking, always get me thinking. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure to follow both of the gentlemen. X links are down below. If it's your first time stopping by DAP Central and you want more content like this, make sure number 1 to smash that thumbs up. Number 2, hit that subscribe. Number 3, turn on that bell. And if you've got any questions, how we can improve, what we can do just to provide more value, then leave a comment down below if you're watching as a part of the replay. If you're watching live, go ahead and leave that in the live chat right now. As we close out there is a question from David Abel, asking us to talk about the Minutes Network. David, I'll see if we can get a representative or Josh Watkins on the actual show here, that'd be great. And that'd be a nice little sort of segue out of the normal conversation, but still talking about DePIN and telecom. So great suggestion there. I'll be reaching out to him. But again, that will do it here for today's live stream. That said, and as always, everybody, take care, enjoy your weekend. Cheers. Bye-bye.